All right, is Arthur in the house?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, and we are live. We are
Hey,
live.
great. That is so good since I'm sitting here. I'm just go ahead and put these headphones on.
Yeah, you got to what up, Arthur from Rockabash. Just so you know.
Rocker, what's going on?
And then we got
Good morning,
Olga.
Ventura.
Yes.
Good morning, Yvette.
I love Loopy Loo. Love that. I have a alliterative name, D'Angela Duff, so I love alliterative names. Thank you, Tariq and Yukachi, for jumping rooms. And Rita. Yes, we are wearing matching t-shirts. I'm so happy that you noticed that, Jessica.
I told you earlier, I feel like counselors.
So Rockabash says, I'm avoiding the Jughead when re-listening to Diamonds and Pearls. I actually skipped Thunder personally, but yeah.
Do you skip Push?
Yes. No, I skip Push as well. I have a separate Diamonds and Pearls album that I listen to. That's yes. But we'll get to that later. So my absolute favorite DNP track really is actually Strollin'. I love Strollin'. I always have loved Strollin'. Someone mentioned yesterday that they didn't like Strollin' at first. And I was like, how could you not love Strollin'? I don't understand. But I guess it's possible. Yeah, there will be polls today, but what we're going to do, Sarah, is we're going to actually put them up throughout the day so that you have to answer all of them at one time. So what will happen is you'll see in the feed. So in the feed, you'll have both the event chat as well as the polls for today. So there are a couple of polls in there right now. There will be more. So one thing you have to understand about this platform, Sarah, I'm really glad that you asked this question, is that there's polls, and this is a session, so you have to consider this like a room, but we're not going to use the session polls. Only going to use the event poll, like for the entire event, so that everybody can see them. Because everybody doesn't have to come to a session. A session, again, is like another room in the house. It's kind of like when your husband is in one room and you're in another. It's like people can be at different places on this platform. So it's really important to think about AirMeet as a virtual building with multiple rooms. And there are a lot of rooms that we can be in at different times. So the poll, you'll be able to find the poll underneath feed. I hate that word, by the way, feed. I wish it was just chat. But feed is where you'll find the main event chat, meaning everybody and their mama can see what you're writing. And then you'll also see the polls for the event. And that's where we're going to drop the polls throughout the day. Now, with the chat that you're typing in right now, this only lives within this session. There are currently, let's see, there's 120 people on AirMeet right now in this event, but only 60 are here in this particular session. So I just want you guys to be aware that people can be at different places at the same time. Is Kanisa in the house? Good morning. Oh, and Kanisa is also wearing the shirt today. Oh my God. If you have this shirt, you got to go put it on today. You just got to be, we have to be in community. And that's the reason why you should go to the lounge, sit at a table, meet someone who also has on the same shirt, just so you can feel that camaraderie. It's so very important. So I'm getting a little bit off track because I'm still kind of in pre-welcome mode. So I want to officially welcome you to day 2 of 1+1+1 is 3 for Diamonds and Pearls Day. For me, it's actually get off day. I actually listened to the maxi single as a whole.
Is that the original or is that the reissue?
No, this is the original.
Okay.
And then this gem here, this is why we're here, Diamonds and Pearls. So it's Diamonds and Pearls Day. And I have to give the obligatory sort of message. You guys should already know this, but we do have some people here who were not with us yesterday, so I have to read this. So the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the Prince 1+1+1is3 Symposium, nor has it endorsed or sponsored the Prince 1+1+1is3 Symposium. Further, the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson has not licensed any of its intellectual property to the producers, advertisers, or directors of Prince 1+1+1is3 Symposium. So I hope we can get that out the way. The next thing I want to do, and I don't want to get this out the way, I have to give massive thanks to my co-producer, my brother-in-arms, Mr. Arthur Turnbull. I couldn't have done this event without him. He keeps me sane, and I just couldn't have done this without him. And then another massive shout out to Krista Battersby. And for anybody who came to the Love Sexy Symposium in person, Krista has been with me from the very beginning on all of the symposium, except for the one at Spelman. She was also at the Betty Davis Symposium. So she has been with me a long time. And she's doing this only because she loves me, not because she has to. So please give respect and thanks to Krista, because I could not do this without Krista. So I just want to make sure you guys know we're small but mighty team. Small but mighty. So there's only 3 of us. So you have to understand if we're not as responsive as you'd like, because there's a lot of different moving parts and there are more of you than there are of us. So I just want you guys to be aware it's a very small team. Very, very, very small. All right. So I have to give some thanks to our sponsors who helped me promote this event this year. And hopefully we will be able to do this event next year. And these sponsors are going to be critical if we do it in person next year. So I have to give them thanks. So special thanks to NYU Tandon. And that's where we did the Love Sexy, as well as the Betty Davis, as well as the Sign the Times original event. We did those symposia there. So NYU Tandon is my academic home. At NYU, we also have to give a massive shout out to NYU Global Inclusion, Diversity, and Strategic Innovation. That's so long because we just call it OGI. And I go, I don't remember what OGI stands for, but it's Global Inclusion, Diversity, and Strategic Innovation. Dr. Lisa Coleman. I think it's just so funny. She has the same name as Lisa. She literally is Lisa Coleman, Dr. Lisa Coleman. It's a different Lisa Coleman, but Lisa Coleman nevertheless. Then we also have to give very, very, very special thanks to the Institute of African American Affairs and the Center for Black Visual Culture, as well as the Department of Photography and Imaging, and Dr. Deborah Willis. I said this last year, the person whom I want to be when I grow up. She is an incredible woman. She does the Black Portraitures conferences. There's actually a couple coming up that she started it, and now she's handing the brand off to some other institutions, but one's coming up this year and one's coming up next year, one in Canada and the other one in Jersey, actually. And then my academic home, Integrational Media, IDM, also at NYU Tandon. A new sponsor this year is the Center for the Study of Gender and Sexuality, also at NYU. And then there's also massive thanks to the 370J project, also at NYU. And then our final sponsor is NYU's Arts and Science Liberal Studies. So we want to definitely give thanks to everyone about that. So let's talk about, for those of you who are already with me in our morning chat, this is going to be repetitive for you, so you have to bear with me. But one thing I failed to say yesterday, and I want to make sure that I don't forget to say it today, is this is a free event, but I really hope that you will consider donating to the PRN Alumni Foundation, because it is the foundation that supports all of the people who worked with Prince. And as you know, the entertainment industry right now is kind of on hold for the most part, and people are really hurting right now. And I just want to make sure that we can give back to all those people who helped Prince, because I know what it's like to have help, because I can't do this without Arthur. So Prince, really relied on all of the people who belong to the PRN Alumni Foundation. So I hope that you will also consider donating to the PRN Alumni Foundation. There is a booth in the arena, and there's a donate link that will take you to PRN Alumni site so that you can actually donate to the PRN Alumni Foundation. I have to give a special shout out to Jackie Thompson, who is a part of the PRN Alumni Foundation. She helps run it, and she's been just so incredible and so lovely and responsive. So I have to give massive thanks to her, because they actually joined us last time for DM40 GB30 when we did it last year. So I want to give special thanks to them. All right, so
Day two.
Diamonds
and pearls.
Diamonds and pearls.
Diamonds and pearls. People showed up, man. I was building the sessions and reading these abstracts, and I'm just strap in. Diamonds and pearls. They ready.
They're ready.
They're ready.
And what's crazy, if Elliot comes back today, Elliot H. Powell, for all of you Diamonds and Pearls lovers out there, you need to thank that man. And the reason why you need to thank Elliot Powell, Elliot asked me, "Are you going to do a Diamonds and Pearls symposium?" I was like, "No." It's like, no. And we had a conversation about it. And he was like, "Why aren't you going to do it?" Because it is 3 different albums. Last year we did 2 albums. And I was like, right. Oh my God, this is kind of stretching it kind of thin. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But because of it, Diamonds and Pearls is in the mix. And out of the 3 albums, in terms of the presentations, most people wanted to talk about Diamonds and Pearls, which was, I don't know, a revelation. I was like, what? I didn't think that was the case, but yeah, people want to talk about Diamonds and Pearls. So there are a lot of Diamonds and Pearls peeps in the house. Today is going to be popping, as they say, and the talks are going to be incredible. So what are we going to do today? Today, we're going to have a couple of presentation panels with 4 speakers each. And then we're going to have 30-minute breaks in between all of our sessions. So we're going to have a presentation panel first from noon until 2:30. We're going to take a break for 30 minutes. And that's where I want you to move your body, eat, hydrate. And I want to remind everyone there is a yoga booth in the arena by the lovely Darren. If you need some yoga action, she's my favorite yoga instructor. She's incredible. So I hope that you'll check out that video. With that particular, there are a couple of booths in the arena where you actually have to unmute the mic because it starts playing automatically. If a video plays automatically when you go in the booth, you need to turn on the audio. It's a default on AirMeet. I can't undo that, but it's actually kind of good because that way you won't like freak out when you're by being blasted with audio with a booth. But the majority of the other booths are on-demand video where you have to kind of play. But there are 3 specifically, and the yoga booth is one of the ones that starts playing as soon as you get in. And also, with the ones that automatically start playing, you can take those videos full screen. You'll see a crosshair, 2 arrows in the right-hand corner of the video, and it will make it so that the video is full screen. The other two booths that have automatic video are actually the Purple Paisley Brunch booth. And I have to give massive thanks to Tanya Giddings and Jill Monroe for providing us with some footage from the last Purple Paisley Brunch where they had Damon and Tony M and Michael B. So there's a clip from that. I highly recommend that you check out that booth. It was an incredible conversation. The clip that I asked them to curate for us is when they were talking about the style and fashion of the Diamonds and Pearls era. And it's kind of hilarious because Tanya pulled some really interesting photos for Tony and Damon to comment on. So I would highly recommend that you check out that booth. The other booth for Tanya and Jill is the Boogie Nights booth. And Tanya interviewed Deanna Williams. And if you don't know who Deanna Williams is, you should. So go to that booth and watch that interview. She is legendary. She's been a part of TV One. She hosted her own radio show for decades. She's the ex-wife of Kenny Gamble of Gamble and Huff, of Philadelphia International. So it was a really fantastic conversation that Jill had, that Tanya had with Deanna. So I highly recommend that you watch that conversation, and it's in the Boogie Nights booth in Arena. So after we do our first presentation and we have our break, we're going to come back for an incredible Diamonds and Pearls roundtable. Now, I've already talked about this in the other session right before this, but this is going to be a roundtable discussion you don't want to miss. It's going to be moderated by Greg Howard, Miss TLC of Twitter and Prince Anniversary. I've asked her every single year to come to participate in the symposium. She finally could fit it in her schedule to be with us today. So I'm really excited about that. Law is an incredible musician. He's worked with everybody and like from P-Funk to Jelly Bean Johnson of the time, to Tony M. So he has like Minneapolis connections, but he's based in Brooklyn. And one of my favorite musicians, you guys should already know, but even more than that, one of the biggest Prince nerds on the planet, Nicolay. I just love that he's able to do this roundtable with us. And I'm very thankful, Nicolay, that you continue to come back, because if you guys weren't with us for the Sign of Time Superlux celebration, there's a booth for that, because that was a really great 5-week run of Nicolay. I loved it. And then we also had other people come in and out, but Nicolay was there throughout the entire 5 weeks. And I have nothing but mad love for Nicolay for doing that. And then we have Hasit Shah, who joined us last year with a presentation for Dirty Mind. So we're going to take another 30-minute break. And after that, again, if you were in the previous presentation, but we have some people who weren't, this is the presentation panel you do not want to miss. If you only go to one presentation panel, this is the presentation panel to go to. First of all, it's moderated by Zaire Ali. And if you don't know who Zaire is, he was on the roundtable discussion with me yesterday. He's part of the Core 4, and I'm still looking for a name. I still need a name for the Core 4, the original Sign of Times 30 crew, which is Zaire Ali, Anil Dash, Miles Marshall Lewis, and Elliot Powell. So help me out, because Miles Marshall Lewis's Crystal Ballers is not working for me. We need another name. So help me out with that. And then we're going to have Lee do the first presentation. And if you need a bit of a revival, I see these symposia as revivals. They sort of rejuvenate my spirit. But if you really need some rejuvenation, C. Lee will do that for you. So if you're a little down and a little uplift, come to C. Lee's presentation. That is the one. And trust me, your attitude, your mood will change almost automatically. I guarantee it. Then my triplet, Camila Cummings. She is definitely my sister. We're literally doing, what are we doing? We're doing 2 different presentations. Me and Celie and Camila, we're going to be presenting at the PopCon conference in April together, panel. And we'll be presenting at the Black Portraitures conference in Toronto, but it's going to be virtual. It's going to be a hybrid event, and we're going to do our presentations virtually. So she's rocking and rolling with me, as well as Celie. So definitely come to Camila's, and she's spoken at a lot of the symposia. And new for this year, and I'm super excited about this, I actually thought I was going to get a no, because I know he's extremely busy and very sought after, is Dr. Mark Anthony Neal. I am so honored that he is willing, to give a presentation at the symposium. So you don't want to miss his presentation. And last, but definitely not least, do I even need to say it? Harold Pride, so Harold Pride, we're going to be in for it with Harold. So I'm so excited about that. And then we're going to take a 30-minute break, and we are going to have our keynote, which is Scott McCullough. And Scott McCullough is a director in cinematography who was crucial to all of those incredible videos for the Diamonds and Pearls era. So if you want to hear some stories, you definitely want to come to the keynote. So one thing about the keynote that we discovered last night, because of the AirMeet platform and some of the tech pains that we have with this platform, with the keynote, you really need to use a laptop or a desktop to actually watch the keynote. If you're on your mobile or your mobile app, we've discovered that the keynotes don't come through. And the reason why the keynotes don't come through is that I'm actually on a different platform for the keynotes, and we're streaming it into AirMeet for the keynotes, because we wanted to keep it super simple for our Prince guests in order to connect. So that's the reason why we did it that way. And that's the reason why we found out that it wasn't working last night for the mobile app, because the mobile app is new. Actually, AirMeet just released it, I think like a week ago, if not a week, 2 weeks. It is very, very new. So I've said that in the Eventbrite email blast that I sent out this morning to the attendees. If you really want the best experience, please, 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 please use your laptop/desktop, and ideally a Google Chrome browser, even though Marilyn let us know that that's not necessarily so. Some browsers work out, even Internet Explorer. Arthur, you weren't there, but Marilyn informed us that AirMeet is working great in Internet Explorer. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I'm shocked. No, I can't. No, I can't. I know Firefox has given a good performance. Safari's a little shaky.
Yes. Safari is a little shaky. So if you have Safari, just take a few minutes. It only takes 5 minutes to download Chrome, and it'll be a much, much better experience. So awesome. That's what we have for today. We got some Q&A. Let me see what's going on over there. Thank you so much for... All right. So we already... but this is a different session. So Liam, polls... You should see the poll results. Liam, that's a great question. So I have a different view than you do. So I have to check what it looks like for you as an attendee with the poll results. See the poll results immediately, but maybe you don't. So that's something I need to look into, Liam. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And then Pam, is there a podcast of these sessions? The sessions will be posted on my YouTube channel, and you can find my YouTube channel if you go into any of the booths at the bottom of the arena, because that's where you see all of my past symposia or my past Prince events, and my YouTube channel is linked in all of those booths. So because remember, we're a small and mighty crew of only 3 people, it usually takes us some weeks to get the video up, but they will be posted there. And we did live stream the roundtable of the Core 4 yesterday to YouTube. We'll also live stream the roundtable from today, the Diamonds and Pearls roundtable, to YouTube as well. We'll do that for you. So you can at least find the Core 4 roundtable from yesterday there on my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find the Diamonds and Pearls roundtable there as well. After when it goes live, you can also watch on YouTube. But the thing is, we won't be manning those. If you have any comments in YouTube, we won't really be manning them, because we're really in the AirMeet experience. We're trying to stay focused, because it can get a little distracting when you're dealing with so many different platforms. So let's see. We got some. It's that.
Hey, quick note about the polls. So in the upper right corner, you've got a series of icons. The first one is feed. By clicking on feed, you'll see 2 panels. One is the feed of the current chat that's going on right now, but then you'll also see polls right next to it. And I see some poll results scrolling through there. Let me know. Your mileage may vary, but it shouldn't. It looks like this is the home for all the poll results.
They are. So I want to kind of clarify some things. I did it in the previous session, and like, this is really bad. This is kind of when I teach the same class to 2 different groups. I forget like what I told the first group versus the second group. So in the first session, we talked about the feed. The feed is where you find the main event chat. And the main event chat is for everybody who's on the platform right now. The chat that's in the session is just for the people who are in the session. So there is a polls tab in the session, but we're not using the polls tab in the session. We're using the poll tab for the event. As Arthur said, you can find the poll tab for the event underneath feed. So you can see how many people are in the session in the bottom left-hand corner, which is right now is 85 people. But if you go to the people tab at the top, you'll see under attendees, there's 146 people right now on the platform. It just went to 145. And so people can be at different places, different times. So not everyone has to be in a session. Some people might be in the lounge, at least I hope they are. I'm trying to encourage everyone to go to the lounge and meet one another. And then some people might be in the arena right now. So everything is not kind of context specific. So the chat is context specific for this session. The Q&A is context specific for this session. But if you go up to the feed and you see the chat for the feed, that is the global chat. You'll see poll, that is the global poll. And then I want to remind everyone, if you're annoyed by sound notifications like I am, you want to go up to alerts and you want to click on that toggle button to turn off your notification sounds. We're going to be making announcements throughout the day. And if you're annoyed by sound notifications like I am, you want to turn that off immediately. Otherwise, it might drive you bonkers, like it drives me bonkers when I hear sound notifications. So that's how you're able to do that. And then Cynthia says, unable to see my chat responses. What am I doing wrong? What I would say to that, Cynthia, first of all, is, are you using a laptop, desktop, a web browser on a lap desktop? Ideally, it should be Google Chrome. Don't recommend Safari. Firefox seems to be working pretty good. Mm-hmm. I can't believe Internet Explorer is working, but Marilyn says it's working really good. So if you're on the app, and I don't know what's going on, can someone tell us what the chat experience is like on the app? But the main thing in terms of chat responses, you need to make sure you're in the right chat. Again, we kind of talked about that. There's a session chat, an event chat, there are private table chats. So Kimberly, thank you so much. Kimberly says the chat experience is fine on the app. Joanne, are you saying that Microsoft Edge is also working well? In terms of, can you let, yes. Okay, so Microsoft Edge is working well. Microsoft is coming through. I can't believe it. What else? Let's see. Okay, so Sten wants to know, Arthur, because Arthur came up with the polls. Why wasn't my favorite song in the poll? She Loves Me for Me. Okay. All right.
Let me say very quickly. Rainbow Children was a challenging album to try to, group a favorite song group. Much harder than say Diamonds and Pearls. You can just rattle it off. Oh, Get Off, Cream, Money Don't Matter. Diamonds and Pearls. It's a very specific album to your listening taste. So I already knew that I just absolutely was not gonna hit it out of the park with that poll.
All right, so we're going to switch to our first presentation, and I just want to remind everyone, please, the Q&A tab for your questions, because I had to scroll back to find the questions, but if you put them in the Q&A, I don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We can find them immediately, so we really appreciate it. So we're going to end this because we don't want to start getting off time, because we're kind of already off time by a minute. So we are going to go to our first presentation panel. So you'll get the notification when we make that live, which should be very, very soon. Thank you, everybody.